these abductions are taking place because these young people voted William Ruto, or at least supported him because he was the hustlers. He promised so much, and when he had promised so much, when he came to office, people discovered that he's not doing what he promised. They discovered that he cannot do what he promised he can't, hatafanya. Sasa the analogy of Kibet ni kama wacha nimweke yeye kwa sanduku nione kama amekufa. Kwa hivyo si ati amesema rais amekufa na si anamtakia kifo, lakini anaonyesha ya kuwa ni mtu ambaye hawezi sikia, hawezi fanya, hatafanya na hatawahi fanya. Kwa hivyo ni kama mtu ambaye amekufa. Lakini nyingi ya hiyo utauliza Kibet mwenyewe, kwa sababu ndio maana Kibet alitoka tena, alitoka tu kidogo.
A very wise man in the building, Mr. Fred Ogolla.
Happy New Year, my brother.
You're good?
Very well.
Yes, I can see today they are fixing your hands so that when you lay hands on Kenyans, at least they are clean.
Yeah, you know, they talk about etiquettes and, you know.
Yes, it's like you're cutting the hooves. You see, someone with nails is a walking weapon.
Yes.
Yes, so removing it shows at least you are prone to the peaceful environment.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's a nice year. I don't know. I see you started the year with a good notch. I've seen certain activities you're endorsing in Mombasa. Tell us more about it.
You know, this journey began when more than 1 year ago I was anointed as an elder among the Luo community. Then I was anointed as the Ogae. Ogae is the leader, the person to guide the Luo community.
Okay.
And of course people said that, can you fit the shoes of Raila Odinga, who has been the perceived Ogae of the community of Luo? Then I told them that I actually don't need Raila's shoes because I'm not going to walk the journey he has walked. I'm walking a different journey, so I just need my shoes.
True.
And because as time went by, the Luo community introduced me to the Kikuyu Council elders.
Okay.
We engage each other. First of all, they have been teaching me exactly what happens among that communities, what's their history, why are they who they are, because sometimes we must misunderstand other communities, only act on prejudices. So after a long conversation, I saw them very differently. And eventually they told us that it's good to work together. I've just been trying to understand the Kikuyu culture in that matter.
Yes.
And I saw that it was important to unite the Kikuyu community and the Luo community, because I discovered the Luo community also want to unite with the Kikuyu community.
Yes.
And the Kikuyu community wants to unite with the Luo community. So I united the elders and I gave them contracts to talk among themselves. Then of course after they are talking, they discovered that I have a lot of roots in the Kaya community. Because remember, I had a business in Mombasa.
Yes.
I lived in Mombasa as a young boy. And I network with them, understand I can speak a bit of Rabai, I can speak a little bit of Mijikenda. You know, their language sounds like Swahili.
Okay.
So then they introduced me, they sent me with a letter to the Kaya Council elders saying that I have their ears and trust. And I can be able to be the fulcrum to unite those communities of Kaya, plus the Kikuyu and the Luo. And of course the Kikuyu Council elders have been talking to the Kamba, the Meru, the Embu, the Kisi, but also the tribes, the Jiek in South Sudan, Uganda. They have been talking to all communities, just unite, because we now have East African community, also we have Eastern African community. So when they introduced me to these people, these elders saw that someone been sent as a messenger, we should actually bestow some blessings on them.
Okay. And
then when that came, they told me, come to Malindi with we do for you this ceremony. And that's why they did the ceremony. So they anointed me as a Kaya elder. I can now act as a Kaya elder. I can perform duties like a Kaya elder. And they gave me a name called Karisa. Karisa is a Kaya name, which means a young shepherd. They see me as David. No, David was anointed by God, Prophet Samuel, but David was still a shepherd. So imagine after the anointing, they told David to go back to take care of the sheep. So he only came back when God found a way to get him to the palace. So being a young shepherd means there's a potential. They see leadership qualities in me. And then in this ceremony, they invited the other communities like the religious leaders, that's Christians, Muslims. They also invited the local communities, the Luo Council of Elders within Kilifi County, and we had a very good discussion. Then we ended up by addressing the nation by saying that all communities in Kenya, all the communities, whether you are from Kisii, Kamba, wherever, we share one common problem.
Yes.
That in Kenya, hakuna ukabila ya Luo, Kisii and the rest. Ukabila ni mbili. Wale ambao wananyanyaswa na wale ambao wanyanyasaji.
Yes.
Wakasema kuna kabila wale ambao wanaoiba na wale ambao wanaibiwa.
Yes.
Kuna kabila ambao wanasema the looted and the looters. So then I told them we need alternative leadership because in this country, truth be said, the current administration has shown that they cannot do what they promised. They are not doing what they promised. They are unable to do what they promised. They are incapable of doing what they are promising, and therefore they'll never do what they promise. And therefore, we need to champion for alternative leadership. That's why the leaders in Kilifi County, political leaders, corporate leaders, youth leadership, came together and said we need an alternative leadership. So that's the movement which has begun. The movement is for alternative leadership. And because they see leadership in me, they said, I would be one of these leaders. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be in charge of this, in charge of that. We just said, we need to have a bus and put the right people inside that bus.
Yes.
Once we find the right people inside that bus, leadership roles are very many. So we can see who will be in which area, because leaders must emerge. You don't impose leadership on people. I can't say I must be the president of Kenya, I must be the deputy president, I must be the governor. But inside this bus we shall know nani atakaa makanga, na nani anaweza kuwa driver, na nani atakuwa mtu wa kusoma map, na nani atakuwa abiria, na nani atakuwa mechanic, na nani ndiye atakuwa mtu wa at least ya pia kufanya entertainment, kwa sababu kuna entertainers in the bus hivyo.
Yes.
Nani anapiga guitar, kwa sababu in this world you cannot be a one man guitar. True. I've seen people saying I'm running for president, then they remain a one man guitar. One man guitar cannot entertain. Guitar needs like 7 guitar players, everybody with different rhythms. So you have to bring all these guitar players together, then you can play the right rhythm. So that was the significance of that meeting.
Okay, and structurally I've seen the country is at a mess now. The populace are traumatized with the current situation whereby people cannot portray their kind of way and the kind of feelings they feel online, with the fear of being abducted, with the fear of maybe being arrested, taken to unknown places. Maybe some end up losing their lives, losing their families. Some are going through torture. And now, I don't know, there are still allegations that people are saying the president is behind all this, but also other people are saying that there's someone behind the leadership of Kenya. It's not Ruto. There's someone behind. And we'll be having claims of Farouk Kibet leading the nation behind the scenes. I don't know, what do you think about all these things? And do you think this thing is lawful? And do you think it's right? And if you are in the same position as the president, receiving such kind of torture online or such kind of things the judges are portraying, how will you handle it?
First and foremost, let me say that I want to abhor and at least protest and saying the strongest term possible that no abduction has no place in the current constitution of Kenya. And I also want to state that even if the president does not like what the young people are portraying about his image on the social media, I've read the constitution after this thing. I sat with it when I was in Kilifi. I read it through. There is nowhere where the constitution protects you from someone abusing you or insulting you. Because all of us who got insulted. Don't you? Are you on social media?
I mean, but they say it's a cybercrime act.
No. There is nothing like that. I'm saying abuse because these guys were putting images that seems to abuse the president. And that's what they said, abusing the president, isn't it?
Yes. But they term it as cybercrime.
I've been on social media, someone saying, huyu si professor, sivyo? Huyu ni professor wapi, sivyo? Professor wa ujinga. People say those things.
Yes.
But then you don't have a right not to be abused. The Constitution does not protect you. More so if you're a public figure. Because you have been elected by the people.
Yes.
They voted for you. They can show their dissatisfaction. Don't you belong to a family?
I belong to.
Have you ever been abused by a family member?
Yes.
Then you abduct them.
No.
Isn't it? You can marry a woman at home.
Yes.
She can say something about you which might not be correct or might be insulting. So you abduct them.
No.
Can't your children disagree with you?
They can't.
I remember when I was a young boy, we used to disagree with my father. Like, for example, when my father would say something about my mother, we don't agree with her. No, Daddy, you are wrong. Like one day, my dad came and said that I work so hard. You just sit here at home. I told them, come and sit at home and see how my mother wakes up, prepare breakfast, sweep the floor, prepare for us lunch, ensure this and that is done. By the end of the day, you'll be tired. So you can't tell that my mother is just sitting at home. So we disagreed with him. And father started and said, guys, you're right. So we have no right not to be abused. So there is no excuse for it. But let me ask you now, the most important thing you have to understand here is why are these people being abducted?
Yes.
Because they are showing dissent against the current government, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, why is the dissent taking place? Because people are dissatisfied with the current leadership dispensation. They want an alternative leadership. That's why they are portraying president to be dead. You understand? They have wished him dead. You understand?
Yes.
He's not dead, he's alive, but they wish him dead. Means that they believe that he cannot, he won't, he's unable, he will never do anything they're asking for. So what is it that they want the president to do that the president is not doing? He's not able of doing it.
Do you think?
And cannot do.
Do you think the people who we chose, the member of parliament, the governors and senators, are pocketed by this president?
That's why I'm telling you, there's something they want the president to do.
For them, yes.
They have asked parliament to act. Parliament cannot do. You understand?
Yes.
Parliament won't do. Parliament is unable to do because Parliament has been bought by the current administration. And if you look at the three arms of government,
yes,
the only arm of government that can score some scores is judiciary.
Yes, yes.
They stood with us on Adani,
yes,
on the finance bill, on the house levy,
yes,
on the finance, on the university funding model. They stood with us against the Shah, the chief. They stood with us against abduction.
yes.
They have been on the right side of history at any given critical time. Therefore, even those people attacking Martha Koome, like Harvey, should understand that he might actually be acting against himself by bringing down judiciary. If at all Martha Koome should go, the first to go home should be the head of the executive, followed by the head of parliament and parliament as a whole, and lastly judiciary. Because if you have three arms of government, the worst goes home first.
Yes, true.
Followed by the second worst. Then now the one standing is judiciary. So according to me, it should not go. But now, the problem is that there's serious institutional failure whereby what the Gen Z is doing should be done by parliament.
Exactly.
If the president needs to go, if at all they wish him dead, parliament should just go impeach him. But parliament is unable, isn't it? They went to the street and risked their life. They were shot. They were killed, isn't it? Now they are being abducted because they are not going to